This is Ugardowski of We Are Change.org here in Sicily, Italy, and oh boy, here with Brittany Pettibone and Lauren Southern. I will make the cross. I will say I disagree with you so much. I disavow 10 times everything you guys do, and I'm 10% Finnish and 90% Polish, which I guess gives me some kind of extra brownie points, and yeah. Okay, we're gonna start this. In all seriousness, there have been a lot of negative feedback for me covering stories that people don't like, for covering issues and things that Lauren Southern does, and I just wanted to say to those people, you will not dictate my content. I've even seen people in the alternative media community who were my friends, who used to share my content, and we had share exchanges on major big Facebook pages and alternative media companies. I found out that they were trash talking me, disavowed me, and even through secret chat logs that I saw, attacked me for simply covering stories that were related to you two. But I just wanted to say that I will always fight for the right to politically associate with anybody you want, no matter what political stance you take. The reason I wanted to make this video is to talk about a bigger subject. A lot of people online kind of build up their own echo chambers. They build up their own kind of reality. As we know, social media algorithms are even proven to create echo chambers because that's how they sell more advertising. And to be successful in media in today's day and age, you kind of have to sit on your computer 14 hours of the day. You have to freeboot content. You have to cause drama. You have to cause infighting. And one of the reasons I really respect both of you is because you actually travel, go out there and find out the truth for yourselves. And the world is a lot different than it is online, especially in your own freaking echo chambers, in your own cluster world that you build up and try to be successful because of money and clicks. The reality is a lot different when you do the traveling. So I wanted to talk to both of you and ask you a kind of very serious question, and Lauren, we could start with you. Is the very fact is, how has your worldview changed from traveling?
Well, I mean, it certainly destroyed a lot of media narratives for me, and on both sides of the spectrum. But from a right-wing thing, I remember the first time I decided to go to Europe was because there was all this news about the refugee crisis going on, and I wanted to know if places like Breitbart were exaggerating, if they were lying about all of these Syrian refugees actually just being men and women from non-Syrian countries. So I went to the Calais jungle, and what I found out was they were right. All of these left-wing media companies that were saying it was all women and children were completely lying. In fact, I saw journalists there in the Calais jungle that faced the camera away from all of the North African men on their cell phones towards the only children that were in the entire camp to portray a false picture of what was going on.
But one thing I wanted to bring up, how has your worldview changed from traveling, and are there any preconceived notions that you had from online that were changed because of being there in the real world?
Well, I mean, like a lot of people in my community, we put immigration as one of the biggest problems, and I genuinely believe immigration is a massive problem in Europe and America as well. But Brittany and I believe yourself, were in Northern Ireland recently, and walking around on the ground there, it is almost 95, if not more, % white there. They don't have a whole lot of immigration, but they still have very serious conflicts going on there. They still have really big degeneracy problems with like drinking in the street and all these huge issues constantly going on. So I think this idea that you could just get rid of all of the illegal immigration and it would fix everything is kind of blown out of the water by just walking through the streets of places like Northern Ireland sometimes, where they have huge conflicts without that immigration. So as much as I do think it's an issue, it makes things more complex when you walk on the ground and gives you a better understanding of the reality and complexity of these situations.
Brittany, has your worldview been changed from any preconceived notions you had before through your travels?
Actually, something that I have noticed is that online people who you disagree with tend to be extremely hateful towards you. And when you actually go out in real life and meet them, many of these people, it may be that just, they have that being anonymous, or they're just, keyboard warriors. But when you meet them in real life, a lot of these people actually are more open to communication, and they're not going to say half the hateful things that they would say to you online in real life. I've actually witnessed at the rally in Portland, Oregon, the Antifa there. By the end of it, there was a group of Antifa talking with our people and actually having communication, a discussion, and by the end of it, they shook hands even though they still disagreed, they were able to be civil with one another. And this is something that I would never have imagined had I only stayed online. So when I actually went out and experienced things for myself, things are a lot more complicated and than they seem. And it's just online also, a lot of people won't communicate. They'll just insult one another. But in real life, they're more disposed to this. And so if you're not irredeemably insane, then I think that there is a lot of, it is effective in real life in this sense and productive.
I mean, one of the ways to make content more digestible is to make things black and white, is to make things very simple, is to outline he's good and they're bad over there. And I think that's one of the kind of precursors to our society not progressing any forwards and sadly being incentivized by clicks and monetary incentive. And I just wanted to share one of the things I learned from my travels, whether it's from Chile to Mexico to the Philippines or Europe or everywhere I've been. One thing that I find very common is that we're all human beings, and a lot of them, majority of people just want the same thing. They just want to have a family. They just want peace. Very few people are actual psychopaths, are actually insane and crazy. I mean, I met some of them. I talked to some of them. I talked to people who murdered people before, and you could look into their eyes and you could see that they're not the same human beings as the majority of people. But everywhere I go, there's a common trait, and we all want peace and dignity in life, and it's really changed once you're able to make eye contact with somebody, look somebody in the eyes and find out, look, we're all human, we're all doing this, let's stop being divided and conquered. And I think the online discourse is pushing that in a very destructive way. What do you think, and what do you think is a good way to combat that?
You want me to jump in? Yeah, no, I'd absolutely say, like, I am very, of course, a lot I'm talking about is immigration, and just to continue on that topic, like, going to these camps, you meet people that are kind, that are decent, that you don't hate, and approaching it from a position of not hatred, but instead, like, I love Europe and the Western culture, and I'm trying to defend that, I don't hate these people, is a much better position than some of the comments you see from people, even on my videos, that are just like, we need to kill these people, F these people. Like, Brittany and I just have a video that's coming out soon on the politics of hate versus the politics of love, and approaching things from a position of wanting to build up and create and love and defend things rather than just hating people for no reason. Because you're right, a lot of the people that you meet in your life, left wing or right wing, just want the same thing, but view it from a different perspective.
Yeah. And you have to look these refugees in the eye once you're there in front of them and see the situations that they're going through, which obviously makes you understand their kind of perspective that you would never see online, that you would never kind of feel. And I think that eye contact, that human emotion, that human energy that transcends all the online bullcrap is so important. And I just wanted to clarify, this is not a video saying just go out there and travel, it's easy. It's not always that easy. The way I personally do it is to travel hacking, by building up freaking flyer mile tickets, by using specific credit cards that allow me to fly. And really, if you put your mind to it, you could do this, and it's a lot better from my perspective for people to go out there into the real world, do the actual reporting, do the reporting that these two are doing, and show the people what actually is going on. But me and Brittany were even talking, and it doesn't even just have to include traveling and going out there. You could even make changes in your community.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to add, that you don't necessarily have to go halfway across the world and spend thousands and thousands of dollars. You could start locally, because as soon as you walk out your front door, you're very likely to run into someone you disagree with. So you can start that way and then build from it.
Beautiful. So that's Brittany Pettibone. Her YouTube channel will be in the description. Lauren Southern, her as well. And of course, this one. Subscribe, stay tuned for more